Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. I don't think I have made a video in a while. That is because I was working on my JavaScript course, but I'm done with the JavaScript course. The course has been published, 100 days of JavaScript. Okay, so let me just quickly show you my website. And this is my website, xenotrustacademy.com, and if you scroll down, you'll see that and I have an additional course in my course list. Okay, I want to encourage you to check it out if what you like to do is to sharpen your JavaScript skills. I am positive that it will help you in that area. Okay, so basically what we have for today is we're going to build a password visibility toggle. Okay, and basically let me just show you how it works. So there is a username and a password field, just a simple login form really. I'm just going to type in something into the password field, something just random, and I'll click on this icon here. And when I click on the icon, everything that I typed in becomes visible. Okay, if I click on it again, then it becomes hidden. Okay, so this is one of the projects we build in the 100 days of JavaScript course. Okay, so basically it's a project-based course that will help you sharpen your JavaScript skills by building project. Okay, it's a straight to the point approach. All right, so having said that, let's get started and see how we can build this project. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let me minimize this guy. Okay, and I just have a blank template here. I'm going to be using Bootstrap to style the form just to make it a bit faster. If you don't know Bootstrap, I have a crash course on Bootstrap. I'll leave a link in the description, and I would also leave links in the description for the 100 days of JavaScript course and a link to my website. Okay, if you want to check out my other courses. All right, thank you so much, and let's get started. So what I'm going to do on this blank template, okay, that just has the Bootstrap CDN, right, is I'll just come here and I'll create what I call a Bootstrap container. So it's a snippet I have on my Visual Studio Code. Okay, if I just type BSC, it will just create a Bootstrap container for me. So what I'll do is inside of this div with a class of row, I'm going to give it a modifier class of box, and this column here I'm going to give it a size of 4. Okay, now so inside the column basically what we have is a form. Okay, so we're going to just create a form like so, and sorry about that. Okay, and inside our form, well, we have 2 input fields and a button. Okay, the input field and the button is just to make the project look a little bit presentable. Okay, that's it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a div with a class of form item, and inside the first one I'm going to put an input that will have a class of form control and form control large, so -lg. Okay, those are Bootstrap classes, by the way, and I think I gave it a placeholder, so I would see placeholder of username. Okay, so basically what I can do is I can just duplicate this form item to make it a bit faster. So I'll just duplicate it and I'll change this input type to password. Okay, then of course, let me see, I think I gave it a placeholder. Okay, I'm also going to change the placeholder to password. Okay, all right, so the last thing I need to do is I need to create the button. So for that I'm going to create a div with a class of display-grid, which will make the button full width. Then I'll just create a button quickly with a class of btn and btn primary, which will give it that color, and then I'll see btn large, so lg, and the button will say login. Okay, so that's it. I think that's it for the markup. Okay, except that this password input field should have an ID, so I'll just give it an ID of password. Okay, oh, there's one more thing I need to do, definitely one more thing. So before I continue, right, let me save and open this with live server so that I can actually see what I've done so far. So open with live server, and it should open here. All right, so this is what we have, right? And okay, yeah, so the last thing I need to do is to add the icon. Okay, so I'm going to add the icon inside this form item div that holds the password input field. So it's just going to be the font awesome icon. By the way, I have the font awesome link. So this is the font awesome CDN link right here on the page. Okay, then what I'm going to do is let me come to this just below the password input field. I'm going to do, so it's font awesome icon dot, sorry, that should be I dot FAS, and then I think it's FA hyphen I. Let me just confirm. So yeah, that's correct, FA hyphen I, and that's the font awesome icon. Okay, so if you save that now, you see the icon should be somewhere here. Great. All right, so one more thing, we just need to add a few lines of CSS to make this a little bit presentable and center it. Okay, and then put the icon where it's supposed to be. So if I come to my styles.css, I already have some predefined styles. Okay, like this is actually a template I used in the 100 days of JavaScript course, and I think I use it most times for projects I build with HTML and CSS. So I'll just come down to the bottom where it says start here. These are just predefined normal things you do, like you do a reset. These are colors. We're not going to use any of these colors, color variables, and just body containing the font and all of that. Okay, so here, this is where I actually get to start. So I'm going to give the body a background. Okay, I already have a body, what's it called? I already have this body element here, so I'll just give it a background color of I think I use my gray color, so color gray, and that is one of the colors I have here. Okay, color gray EEE. Okay, then so let me come down here, and for that class of box, that's what I'm going to use to center everything. Okay, and I think I have a, I think, is it flex? I have a snippet for that. Flex, I think. Yeah, so this is the snippet I use to center stuff. So I'll just change this to box and save, and as you can see, it has brought it to the center. Okay, there's a lot of stuff I do, right, that's, you know, are based on many of my other tutorials. Okay, so you should consider subscribing to the channel if you're not subscribed. All right, so now let me place this I inside of this password field just to the right here. So what I'm going to do first is for the form item, I'm going to give it a position of relative. Then I also want to add some space between the form items, so I would say margin, and top and bottom I'll do 5px, left and right 0, save, and you see now they are spaced out. Okay, so lastly I'm going to put this eye icon here. I'll position it, so I'll just come here, I'll say dot fas, and the position is going to be absolute. Okay, then I'll say that from the right, well, I want it to be, I did 1.1 rem. Let me save that, and you see, so it's now here. Then I'll say that from the top, I want it to be 1.1 rem as well. Okay, then I'll set the cursor to pointer. Okay, so now you see it's positioned here, and if I hover on it, it looks like it's clickable. Oh, that's it for the HTML and CSS. Okay, so now for me, let's get into the more interesting part of the project, which is the JavaScript logic. So I'll come to my JavaScript, and I'll just create two variables. One is going to target the password field, and another will target the eye icon. Okay, so it's going to be a query selector variable. So I'll say VQS, which is the snippet I have for that, and the name of this variable is going to be password. I keep forgetting if password is a reserved word in JavaScript. Anyway, you can check that. So let me just see. So you can just see reserved words JavaScript, and the first result you get should be fine, W3 schools, and I'll just search for password, control find, and password. Okay, so password is actually a reserved word in JavaScript, at least from this W3 schools other reserved word. Okay, but it will still work, right, if you use it, just that you may run into problems if you do. Okay, so I'll just say my password. Okay, so my password is equals to, and it's going to target the input with an ID of password. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this, and this other variable is going to be the icon. So I'll say icon, and I'm just going to target the let me see, did I give it a, I don't think I gave it an ID. Okay, all right, let me just give it an ID. I'm going to give it an ID of I. Okay, all right, so that's fine. Now I'll say hash I. Okay, so now I have two variables targeting the two elements I need on the page. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add an event listener on this I icon. Okay, so because that's what you're actually clicking, right? So I'll say I icon dot add event listener. And what do we want to listen for? Well, we want to listen for a click, and when the user clicks on the eye icon, what do we want to happen? So we're going to access that with an arrow function like this. Okay, good. Now there are two states that this eye icon can have. Okay, so if you come to the original project here, you see that, let me just type something. Initially, when you type in, right, this is what the eye icon looks like. When you click on it, it changes. Two things happen. Okay, the first is the value of the password fields becomes visible. In other words, you can read it. Okay, and then the eye icon changes. Okay, so it's no more just an eye icon, it's an eye icon with a slash, a backward slash. Okay, so those are the two events that we want to, watch out for. Okay, so here I'll come here. I'll add an event listener. All right, so let's come back to our project. Now in the initial state of our project, right, this eye icon has a class of fa-i. So I'm going to come to my JavaScript, and I'll say that if, let me just open an if statement. It's actually an if else statement, so but I'll start from the if block. So I'll say that if the eye icon, right, has a class of fa-i. So the way you do that in JavaScript, you say if eye icon dot class list, right, contains, so you say dot contains, and then you specify what it is, what the class you want to target. So in this case, it's the fa-i, which is exactly what is here, fa-i. Okay, now if that eye icon has this class, what do you want to do? Well, what we want to do is we want to make this password visible. At this stage now, it's not visible, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to get the attributes, this type attribute of the password of this input field. We're going to get this type attribute, which is ideally set to password, and we're going to change it to a text attribute. That's the first thing we want to do. So I'm going to come here and I'll see that the password, my password, right, dot, and then I'll say set attribute. So you use the set attribute method to change the attribute. Which attribute are we interested in? We're interested in the type attribute, right? We saw that just now, and we want to set the type attribute to text. Okay, now of course we need to do this thing step by step. So if we save this and we come here, we type something and we click on this guy, now we have what's it called, we have some text in here. We've changed it from the password and it's now text. But that's not all we want to achieve. We also want to be able to toggle to change the icon here. So, well, this is an icon without a slash, so I want to put an icon with a slash. So first off, I would remove the icon with what's it called, this icon here. I'll remove it, so I'll just say icon, right, dot class list dot remove. Okay, and what do I want to remove? Well, I want to remove the fa-I. Let me save that and let's see. So I'll come here, I'll click on it, and bam, it's out of the page. So now that we've been able to remove it, well, I want to add another one, so I'll say add, and the icon I want to add is FAI, but it has a slash, so I'll say hyphen slash. Okay, it's also a font awesome icon, by the way. So if I save this and I come here and I type this guy, now we've changed the password and we've changed the icon. But this is too much code in my opinion, right? We can do this with a single line of code. So what I'll do is I'll comment this out here, and I'll use the string replace method to do this in one sweep. So I'll say icon dot class list dot replace. And what do I want to replace? Well, the first thing I want to replace is I want to replace this FAI. I'll copy that, I'll paste it here. I'll add a comma, and I'll specify what I want to replace it with, which is this guy here. So I'll copy that, come here, paste it in, and let's see if it does the job. So we'll come here, we type something into the password field, and we click here, and voila, it works. Okay, so we've saved ourselves a few lines of code, right? So what I want to do is, okay, I'll just leave this code for you just in case, just so you can use, so you can understand it, like appreciate it better. So I'm not going to delete it. So now in this else block, right, the else block is actually what is going to run if the icon does not contain the FAI. Okay, so in this state, right, the else block will run. I hope that's clear, because at this point now the class list of FAI has been removed. In this current state now, this class list here is now FAI hyphen slash. Okay, so now when you click on this button, what do we want to happen? Well, I'll just grab this guy here, and I'll say that I want to change my password attribute back to password, and then I'll also grab this guy here, and I'll say that I want to replace the FAI. So let me Control X this to just remove it. I want to replace the FAI with a slash with just the icon FAI. Okay, and now if I save this, we have something different. So if I come here, I type something into the password field, I click on it, right, this first block here is executed. Okay, I think I should bring this comment down, Control X, so we have, you know, the code looking better and cleaner. Okay, so when I click on this, at first this if block is executed, right, because at that initial stage the FAI is the class on the icon. Okay, now if I click on this guy, now watch what happens. So it switches back to the password, which is the first thing we specified here, and then it replaces the FA slash icon with just a regular FAI icon, which is what we specified here. Okay, so basically that's how you can add a password visibility toggle to your project. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to check out my course links in the description. I'll see you in another project.